Okay, so good evening. My name is Craig Blanchette. I'm a certified optimal health coach, and this is our weekly Healthy Huddle. And I just want to reiterate for those of you that are here watching this, and uh, we do a lot of things as health coaches. One of the things that I do is I work with my own clients. So I have a health coach practice where I work with clients. But part of what I do also is that I help other people start their health coach practices. And so I do some business things and mentoring, but I also do just some one-on-one coaching with people. And the reason why I have this weekly meeting time is because at the core of everything we do as health coaches is health. And so I want to make sure that I provide an opportunity for us to stay in the zone and keep learning together and growing and partnering and those kinds of things. Because for me, I'm going to be working this program until I die, because in my mind, this program is called the I Want to Feel Awesome program. It's not the 5-in-1, or it's not some 4-in-2, or it's not a specific eating strategy. It's a way of living. And so I know that I'm hedging my bets by continuing to be part of other people's journey and us partnering together. And so that's what I want to talk about tonight, is just the idea of why community makes such a difference in the long-term strategy for health. And so so that's the call tonight. This is going to be 30 minutes long. You guys are invited as usual at the bottom of the hour. It's 6:30 West Coast time. We're going to review Dr. A's Habits of Health, and we're doing chapter 9 tonight. We've got a little quiz prepared, and so it's going to be fun learning opportunity there. So I'm curious, for those of you that are on here, when I talk about this idea, maybe even just in my introduction, how I'm talking about partnering with other people and learning to be part of this process that goes far beyond a simple eating or exercise strategy. And so how is this working out for you? And then so that's the first question. And the second question is, do you think that other people that you know, because you're getting yourself here clearly, but because this is about community, are there people in your life that could benefit, and quite frankly, that we could benefit from having part of this, right? Because we learn from lots of different people in lots of different ways. So who wants to jump in first and just talk about the community and why this program, or maybe what's changed in your mind from being a program to a lifestyle, and what that means to you personally? Who wants to go first?
Well, I'll always go first, Craig, because I like to talk, right?
Yeah.
No, I think my big aha moment came when I was in Baltimore in February among a whole pile, just everyone there, health-minded people, and it made it very easy to always be mindful of healthy choices and keeping not only myself accountable, but the people around me accountable as well. And then contrast it to an event that I had to go to in Nashville, where they weren't so healthy-minded. They were healthcare professionals, but they just were not living the lifestyle. And it was very difficult to stay mindful. So the power of community really kind of gelled for me in the last few weeks. So, I will always promote going to Zooms, or to be somehow or other connected to people who share and value health in their life.
Perfect. Yeah, it's interesting that what we take for granted would take shape for life. When we go to events, they have lean and green options available because they know what makes the human body thrive, the kinds of foods that we eat and how it allows our human bodies to thrive. And so I love being part of an organization events that champion those habits, obviously, that are found in this book. And so you can go, they make sure that every hotel, all the restaurants have lean and green options available. These are just things that they do, but I totally agree with you. It's actually really interesting because every 3 hours you hear this. And it's people grabbing their Medifast bar or their snack or whatever it is, and they're eating in the actual presentation with 3,000 people there. And now you hear these crackling, crinkling. And I think that's more of, that's like one of the sound effects that you get. That's what healthy sounds like, right? And you go to other conventions and they're starving, and then they race to lunch at lunchtime, and then usually at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, everybody's falling asleep in our presentation, and we're all lit up, ready to go. So, anyway, interesting stuff. Who wants to go next?
I'll hop in there.
Yeah, okay.
Community to me, I think the longer I've been around this amazing community, I realize more and more my own strengths and weaknesses. And I think without community, we don't have the right perspective, or we don't have a comprehensive perspective, because we all have our little pieces that we're kind of blind to. And so without that community, we don't have everything covered. And so I like that you brought up, who could be missing from this. And maybe there's that unique vision or perspective that's not here tonight, that man could have opened up a whole new world to us if they were here. And so I always appreciate those who do come. And I do think about, other people that might benefit from this group, or that we might benefit from. Mm-hmm. And without those members, the more people, the more complete we are. And a question that I have even for myself, and I still don't know the answer fully to this, but I know that I tend, unless I'm really intentional about it, I tend to just power through on my own anytime I'm given that opportunity. And I love the fact that being a health coach kind of creates community for me without me having to, it's kind of a default. I'm going to be part of community. And that's a good thing for me, because if I didn't have that, I would probably try and go out and do it on my own again, like I've always tried and failed at. And I had another person give me the image that, if you separate from the flock, you can expect to be attacked or devoured. And that image stood with, or is standing with me. And I think about that, but yet how many times I still try to go out on my own and do it again. So those are just some of the thoughts, as you mentioned, that I had.
Yeah, thank you for that. And I wonder, if we were to take a minute and actually take a piece of paper and think of it, can you think of one person that we need to meet? Somebody that in your life that's awesome and that has a great story and would be inspiring to us, that you could invite. If everyone invited one person for next week, personally, hey, here's this cool thing that I'm doing. I've been doing it for these reasons. And we were talking about who we would like to have come. And I thought of you. Have you ever done something like that? And what do you think? What if we just did that? Then we would be double the amount of people. We'd be introducing new people next week like crazy. And people are going, I never knew something like this existed. You won't accidentally get here. Trust me. Right? It's not like you walked into a gym and they're having some kind of class. This is a very unique place to find online. Right? And what if we were able to bring more people and people that are going to make us better? I wonder. I'm actually pasting this right now onto a bunch of people that I see that are online. And I'm just saying, hey, the Healthy Huddle starting now, if you want to jump in and take a listen. So thank you for that. And Well, we'll go through a few more people, and then we'll just take 5 minutes and think of a name to write down and invite them. So who else wants to go next? Yeah. Hi, Linda. Let me unmute you. Go for it.
To me, community is an extra layer of support. I mean, our community is a group of like-minded individuals, but we all have unique perspectives. We all have, we're all here to be healthy and to help get other people healthy, but we all have different perspectives on what brought us to this place in particular, how we started to seek after help, I guess. And so all those different perspectives are very valuable in having someone to relate to when you have a need to get healthy. So that provides that extra layer of support, that relatability to other people that may be seeking help, and they may say, oh, well, you just don't really know my situation. They need somebody to be able to relate to help them put that need that they have to, I guess, push them to what they really want to do.
Yeah. No, exactly. Well, and who knows, I think of it, what you're saying there is sometimes, when do we know when we're going to be inspired and like something will be like, I never thought about it that way? How do we know that's going to happen in the day? I hope it happens to me every day, but I don't know. And so as you're talking to people, they just happen. And I'm blessed when they do. And for me, this environment is a breakthrough rich environment. There's really good soil here. And so we can learn at a high level from like-minded people. And so it's a good place to be. And then, as we're bringing on somebody else, I was listening to a couple people share their stories today. One was part of Daniela's team, and it's a brand new health coach. And she was saying things that were like really practical as to why she became a coach. And then there's a lady that was yesterday, and she's part of, I can't remember whose team this was on, but she said, my mind still looks in my closet thinking that there's size 22 in there. But she says, all I see is 6 and 8s. So my mind's going to have to get used to the reality that I'm not a 22 anymore. And I'm like, whoa, like that was such a powerful, because I know every one of you smiled and thought, yeah, I think that too, or I'm trying to get my brain to realize that reality has changed. And I'm not 22, I'm not a 22 anymore. I've lost weight, I'm different, I'm healthier. And the tag doesn't lie, right? So those are the kinds of things that inspire me. Who else has something they want to share? How about you, Diane?
If I must.
Yes, you must.
Well, no, I like to give other people the opportunity because I've been doing this for a while. And the one thing that I have realized and have noticed, I'm sure you have too, Craig, is that people who go out there and do it by themselves aren't successful. So unless, people get integrated into the culture of health, whatever that looks like, because it looks different for every single one of us. And, people who aren't listening to support calls, who aren't doing the educational piece, who aren't doing this piece, who aren't connecting with their health coach, they're not going to be successful. So I'm a fervent believer in, getting plugged in, whatever that looks like, because things happen in our lives. Sometimes that get in our way of doing certain aspects of it. But as long as we're maintaining some kind of connection, daily, and it's all about being mindful too. So
how often do we, when things aren't going well, we want to hide and we want to just we don't want to talk to anybody because we want to just beat ourselves up a little bit. And even if that person we talk to may encourage us, we'd rather I'm just disappointed I'm not going to talk, right?
Yeah.
And yet when you call the person and talk to them, then you're able to go like, oh, there was some encouragement. Maybe they share a story when they've struggled, and so now you relate. And to me, as humans, that's such a powerful thing. By the way, Abby just joined us. I just sent her a thing saying, hey, come back on. So some of you guys know Abby from a while ago, and so she's reconnecting. Nice to see you again, Abby. Awesome. We're just talking about what community is like, and when we get disconnected from community, we usually don't become healthier, and what community means for us. So who else would like to share on that, kind of on the reality, or maybe a specific example of being part and then get disconnected, and then what it was like to come back? Anybody have an example there? Yeah, Lorraine. Let me unmute you. Oh, there you go. You're good to go now.
Yeah, I did it.
Be good.
Yeah, I sure can relate to disconnecting and coming back. Things happen. Life happens, and it really can pull you away from the people that you know are your support system and are your positive support system, especially. But life happens, and you get pulled away. And I found myself becoming more and more negative about the things that were going on around me. And I knew what I needed to do. I needed to hop back into this healthy, positive group of people and get myself focused again. Thing is, I love this group of people right here because I feel like I really have a lot in common with this group of people, because I don't know, we all come from a real empathetic place.
Mm-hmm.
And I really look at what I do as I focus on the people who are important to me, and I focus on people, and I feel like this is what this group does.
Yeah.
And so I plugged back in. I'm getting my healthy mind back on, and feeling good about it.
That's great. It's great. I think, I don't know, but for me, this is not a win-lose. And I hate to say it's a journey because that's so oversaid. But I mean, it really is a journey. But the reality is this particular program, in my opinion, ends when you die. And you got between now and the time you die, and it's who you're gonna be part of, and who's gonna be part of you. And for me, it's just like, I just want to do this with other people. I know every one of you, and I care about each one of you. And you are part of my journey. You're part of keeping me on track and staying healthy and keep working at it. And I think of lots of you sometimes when things are hard. And I'm just like, yeah, but what about Kim? What about Debbie? What about Barbara? And there's another lady, she hasn't joined us yet, but she's just retiring. Her name's Phyllis, and she works graveyard, so she's working or sleeping during this time. But she lost 130 pounds. Many of you know her story. 3 years ago, every other Wednesday at 10, I talk to her, and she's between 118 and 120. And she said her big dream this year was to ride a motorcycle. Well, I talked to her a couple weeks ago, and I said, now that you're retiring in May, you're going to join us for our huddle, and everybody's going to know you. And she got all embarrassed, right? But when you meet Phyllis, you'll know. And we'll be like, Phyllis, you're here. And so whenever things get tough, I remember Phyllis? Yeah, it was worth it because, so who's your Phyllis? You have that person in your life. You're like, yep, even if nobody else wants to get healthy, me and Phyllis, what's up? We hooked it up, right? So anyway, those are the things why community is so important to me. So excellent. Well, we are about 24 minutes after, and so what I wanted to say to you guys is, who in your life would, two ways of looking at this. who do you think would benefit from coming here? That's the easy one. Who would we benefit from having here? Like, who's this person in your life that's awesome and just as inspiring? You know, somebody just sent me a message here that said, that's where I'm at right now, Craig. Not necessarily with my health journey, but I wanted to thank you for saying about the disconnection, reconnection, and how vital that is. You know, and so this is the world that we're all humans and we all have this. So who is it? Maybe I'm just going to go around and let's see, think about this and just say their first name. And then I want to invite you and encourage you to call them this week and tell them, hey, my coach was talking about this. There's this crazy thing that we do online once a week. And I think you'll like it, and they need you. You know, so who has somebody? You want to just raise your hand and just name somebody that's coming to your mind? Do you have anybody, Martin? Barb does. We'll go Barb and then Martin.
Sharon.
Sharon. All right. So when we see her here, we're like, Jerry, what's up? We were thinking about you. Martin, do you have anybody that you can think of?
We're still thinking.
Okay. I'm trying to get, you guys remember Holly Glavin? Yeah, I'm trying to get her back plugged into these things. So Holly's going to be my person to see if we can get on here.
That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, whatever. What can you call it?
That's what I was thinking of.
Go ahead, Linda.
My friend Elaine.
What's that?
Mine is my friend Elaine.
Okay. Catherine, you say?
Elaine.
Alehi?
Elaine. E-L-A-I-N-E.
Oh, Elaine. Perfect. Great. How about you, Kim?
I have lots of names that are coming to mind.
Oh, really? Well, there you go.
Yeah, so I have to figure, I figure I should just invite them all and then see who comes, right?
Yeah. Well, and I would say invite them all, sure, but this is really the personal touch of calling and saying, hey, this is this thing. Because we have to establish more value than them doing whatever they normally do during this time on Tuesdays, right? And so by calling and talking about what this looks like and what we do here and how it's a value, I think that will help them to actually make it. You know, if they live close by, say, come to my house and we'll do this. You know, we'll sit on Zoom together. But if you were to pick one, who would you pick?
Well, I was trying to figure that out. I don't know.
Okay.
Which one who I would choose. I'm thinking like Martin is as well. So.
Okay. You want to invite Holly? Yeah.
Yeah, I want to invite Holly.
Well, I invited Abby, and Abby just popped in. What's up, Abby?
Great to see Abby again. It's awesome.
Yeah. How about you, Debbie? Do you have anybody specific?
Yeah, I spoke to her today about getting back on these as my friend Diana.
Diana.
So I have like Kim and I have a few people I'm thinking that's popping in my head, but I'm trying to think of somebody I think that really would actually do it.
Imagine what we're doing right here. Like, we are preemptively strategizing on how to care for people. Ooh. Like, think about that.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah, of course you can.
Which we're talking about with just what Diane was talking about with just touching base on something. And I have been listening to the podcasts, and today it was really neat. I heard this gentleman on one of the nurses supports calls say that talked to this gentleman who decided to speak, and he was 450 pounds. And he was down like 40-something pounds in like 6 weeks. But a health coach walked up to him, complete stranger, in a restaurant, and saw him, and he's like 450 pounds, and just approached him and said, hey, I'm a health coach. I think I could help you. And I thought and they were, he said, she saved my life. And that was, to me, just touched me so much to say, there's going to be opportunities where you know, I want to be brave enough to walk up to somebody I don't know that just say, you know, just in case they're ready, just in case they're ready. You know, he said it was the right time. Mm. And I thought that was really inspiring. And it was just neat that I'm glad that I've been doing that and just touching base and staying in the loop. So I just wanted to share that. I thought it just touched me. So.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. Who would have known? Imagine that the person that invited you to be here and that shared with you or inspired you or that helped you along your health journey. You know, I mean, think of it. At one point, they were probably a little nervous about talking to you, and then somehow you connected, and now your life is different.
Yeah.
Right. And
yes.
What is that? I mean, this is the practical nature of what we do. This is what life is.
Well, it gives me it's just like, wow. I mean, I really am looking for something like that. I really want to help somebody. And so it just really gives you confidence to be able to approach people you don't even know just because they might be ready.
Yep. That's it. Yeah.
I have a question though. How do you, this is Eileen, how do you know when and what to say? Because you also don't want to offend people. You don't want to be rejected.
Mm-hmm. That's a great question. I would say make sure you have your heart involved.
You know, I was thinking that I wished that I was on that call to elaborate more with this gentleman and find out how she approached him. Mm-hmm. You know, it's interesting you would say that, Eileen, because I thought about that. I mean, I'd love to know how she approached him.
I've done it with complete strangers, but that's like the level 5.0. Like that just to do I mean, here's an example. I go to the DMV today, and I'm looking for power because I was trying to create this quiz for tonight's chapter 9, and I had 3% battery life. So I went over to the corner where there was a power outlet. I plugged it in. And there was a girl sitting there. She was a little overweight, and she had dreadlocks, and she was just sitting there. And I said, "So how was your day?" And she says, "Fantastic." And I said, I just want to let you know, I started this out with, you with me? You write this down? So how was your day? I know it's cryptic. You probably never heard those words before. I just said that. How was your day? She did, it was fantastic. And I go, really? What was so fantastic about it? Okay, I'm not saying, do you need help because you're overweight? I didn't. Well, she goes, well, I worked out today. I kid you not. I worked out today. And I said, wow, what else? And she goes, and I followed my eating plan. And this is the first two things out of her mouth. She doesn't know me from anybody. And she goes, and I followed my eating plan today. And I said, wow, are you trying to work on your health? And she says, yeah. I said, well, how's it going? And she goes, well, I got this friend. And we just start talking. And I said, this is so crazy because you don't even know me. But I'm a health coach. And she goes, you're kidding me. And we just had this great conversation. And her name is Amanda. And there's her phone number. Well, I shouldn't show them here, but don't call her. But I'm going to call her anyway. And she wrote this on the back. Health talk at DMV. And she put this in my computer when I wasn't looking. And so she wants to have a conversation. I mean, I didn't say, wow, you look overweight. And I can really have some things that I could help you with, because she didn't care how much I knew about change in her life until I was human with her. And I had no idea what she would say to that question, how's your day been? That's a pretty open-ended question. You can go anywhere with it. So that's what I would say, Eileen, is you look for opportunities to relate and connect with people. And just let it go. I had no plans on finding a potential person that wanted to become healthy and to follow up. I was there to get my driver's license renewed. That's it. But I went over and I made a conversation. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's great. You got to be for real, first of all. and not attack them, but just kind of like be there while they say whatever, and you just got to give a polite response and being for real, not saying, well, oh, it's obvious, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't attacking her or anything. I was actually just trying to make some small talk while I waited for my number to be called.
Yeah. No, it came natural. It came natural, yeah.
Well, because it was quite natural.
Yeah, I love it, yeah.
And I had nothing to offer her other than a smile and a little conversation until I knew a little bit more about her. And I mean, what are the odds? I worked out today and I followed my eating plan. And then I asked her what her eating plan was. She said I had 2 hard-boiled eggs and a banana and then some kind of salad. And I'm thinking, oof, I didn't have enough food.
And you held back all response, didn't you?
I certainly did. I said, man, would you love, I told her a little bit about what I did. And I said, what I love to do is I love to partner with people that aren't as healthy as they want to be. And we look at 3 areas. We look at your physical world, your physical health. We look at, your financial, vocational health. And then we look at the kind of the mental health. I go, I'm not a psychologist, so it's not like you're mental. She laughed. And I said, well, we look at the emotions and the relationships and sort of just the ways that you think about life. And we sort of look at where that all is now and where you'd like it to be. I said, would you be interested in going through a well-being assessment? She goes, yeah, that sounds great. So I'll let you know where it goes when I call her. Maybe she'll be here next week. Who knows? Wouldn't that be fun?
Craig, I was going to say, when you go into a situation, in the beginning, I was just so, okay, who can I talk to? Who can I talk to? Once I got over that, and it's like, just be yourself, be friendly, talk to people. You'd be surprised how people just don't interact with each other. And when you all of a sudden interact, just, hey, how was your day?
When she wasn't on her phone, lots of other people were sitting on their phone, and she was sort of sitting there. She had a nice smile. She had cool dreadlocks, and she was sitting in the corner.
And you don't go in with any preconceived kind of things like, oh, I'm looking for business. But you just go in yourself. Things just flow a whole lot easier. And whether you get a client out of it or not, or you make a friend, that's what's most important. Make a friend.
Well, if you truly believe you're trying to sell something, people will sense that. I have nothing to sell any of you.
Well, you guys, I'm new at this. This is really my first. I mean, you've probably seen me before, but I actually I'm new as far as a coach, and so I'm learning. Alex is my coach, but anyway, I'm just so excited about this that you can't help but exude that. And like, I have a new next door neighbor. I'm new where I'm at in this apartment building, and we got to talking one day, and so I ran into her today, and I hadn't seen her for a few weeks. And she's, how are you doing? And, we just started talking. And I says, hey, what are you doing later? And she says, nothing. And I said, well, I'll just drop by. And I haven't dropped by yet. But then I thought, well, I got to be careful because I need to establish a friendship first before anything else comes up.
Mm-hmm. Well, it would be awkward if you were trying to just fix her without her saying, I need help fixing.
Right.
I'm broken.
Yeah.
I mean, that's presumptuous in a relationship to say, I can just come in and fix you. That turns me off. I run from that.
Yeah. And I just want to be a friend, establish a new friendship.
Well, I mean, here's the thing, and sometimes we're getting a little bit of kind of coach, but really coaching or just connecting, really it's all the same thing. But you're not weird, Eileen. So don't start being weird. You're not weird. You know people. You have relationships. So just keep doing that. But now you have some resources to offer people that are helping you. And so if we partner with people, we can learn from each other. Maybe we can make some inroads into this health journey. So this is what the community is all about.
Thanks for teaching me, all of you. I'm learning from all of you. Thank you.
Yeah, that's why we do this. We learn. So I'm going to close that portion up, and we're going to get on to chapter 9. So hang on.